And tonight we're doing filet mignon. It's a beautiful piece of beef tenderloin. We're going to do a nice mustard crust on this with some nice Dijon mustard, garlic, and we'll use some brisket rub. We went ahead and purchased a full, it's called a PSMO, P-S-M-O, peeled skinned membrane off tenderloin. You can buy them at the big box stores. They're a lot cheaper when you can buy them like this. Plus there's a lot of usable, I'll call nuggets of deliciousness on this, that if you butcher it yourself, not only do you pay less money than if you would if you bought the steaks or a peeled loin, but you kind of miss out on all that little delicious snacks. So we'll go ahead and show you how I get this butchered up. We'll get it marinated, and then we're going to kind of do a reverse sear on it. We're going to cook it at 250 degrees for probably about an hour until it hits about 120, 125 degrees. Then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and sear it off real hard on the sear kit, and we'll actually serve it whole and slice it into medallions afterwards. So let's go ahead and get it butchered up. Alright, so if you look at the tenderloin itself, a lot of this fat you can really just peel off with your fingers, okay? And you really want to avoid using your knife as much as possible because you don't want to gouge any of the meat. And like I said, use your hands as much as you can. All this fat kind of just peels away. And if you look, you've got this side muscle here, and there's a lot of really good Scooby snacks in there, if you will, that are good if you're doing steak tips. Okay, so a lot of times you can just separate that with your fingers. There's a couple spots you can just cut away real easy.
That's his ribs. Daddy, the red part is his ribs.
No, that's the meat, pumpkin.
Oh. Where's his ribs?
And if you take your knife, again, you can peel all of the silver and fat off on this side muscle here, okay? And you almost get like a little mini tenderloin in here, and there's another nice piece on this back side here, and it's definitely worth spending the time to clean that off, make some delicious steak tips. Cut this tail off, and again, this tail meat here, I'd say definitely recommend cleaning it up. There's some good meat in there for tips. Now, as far as the silver skin on the top, you take your knife and just kind of in at the end, and then tilt your knife up a little bit and just push right along that silver skin, and it'll come right off in one nice piece. And we're not gouging our beautiful fillet. Again, just angle that knife blade up and almost push like you're skinning salmon, and it'll come right off. Okay, a couple more.
Now you're peeling the skin off. Just get into the meat, Daddy.
We'll square the top of that off too. One more piece of silver skin right here, and you definitely want to cut that silver skin off. It's really inedible once it's cooked. And if each tenderloin's a little differently, this one's got a good little piece of fat right in here, another piece of silver. You really want to cut off as much fat as you can. So that pretty much does the top. And again, if I was in a restaurant, you'd want to tie this up, get it nice and tight. On the back side, if you look, okay, and there's almost like little plates here, okay, and this is the very top of where that loin would have sat on top of those bones. And if you basically just kind of lift up that little flap, you just want to kind of remove that piece right there. And there's not too much meat there. It's mostly fat, little silver skin. Okay, this will make some really nice steaks.
Ribs are in here.
And again, right where that.
Did you know where the ribs are?
And since we're not really cooking this for a really long time, we want to make sure we get off that fat as much as we can. And since the tenderloin muscle really doesn't get a lot of work, there's not a lot of really great beef flavor in it, like if it was a ribeye or even a strip steak. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give this some really, really strong seasoning to bring out some good flavor there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna only cook about half of this because there's only 6 of us tonight. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this thinner piece here, And we'll save this tornado for, again, probably steak and eggs in the morning for the kids. And then probably end up just cooking this like it is. I'm not going to tie it because it's just the wife and the kids. Boys are having some friends over for sleepover tonight. But let's go ahead and get this crusted up. Alright, so we got a tenderloin nicely peeled. We'll go ahead and get our crust made. I've got some nice Grey Poupon mustard. I'm going to add about a tablespoon, about 2 tablespoons or so. Again, the Dijon mustard's got some great flavor, some white wine, some really good stuff. Probably about a tablespoon of garlic. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to mix this up. We're literally going to paint it on our tenderloin. And the mustard and garlic, once it kind of cooks, it'll actually mellow out and get pretty sweet. You'd be surprised, that Grey Poupon mustard's got some great flavor to it. And what we'll do is we'll put a little Ben's brisket rub on the top. I think it's got great flavor for not just brisket, but beef in general. Get this flipped over. And this will, when we sear this up, this will get nice and crispy. It won't burn. It'll be really tasty. And if you want to do this ahead of time, you can definitely let this sit like this for up to 12, 24 hours. Grab our brisket rub. Season up the back. Make sure we get this all over. Alright, we got our RT680 set at 250. We're going to go ahead and let this cook for probably about an hour and 20 minutes or so. It'll hit an internal about 120 degrees. And then we'll sear it off about 450 degrees on our sear kit. We'll see you at the Rec Tech. Got our RT680 set at 250. And we probe it, we'll go right in the end here, right in the middle, straight through. We'll let that go to an internal. The tenderloin's come up to 125 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and pull it off now. I'm going to crank the heat up to finish my potatoes. So we'll bring this up to 450 degrees. Alright, our grill's up to temp. Our potatoes are good and soft. Go ahead and sear this off. Let that go probably about 4 to 5 minutes aside. We'll turn it about 3 times to kind of get it nice and seared. Tenderloin's looking great. Let's go ahead and pull our steak and potatoes off. Roll mat and second shelf makes it really easy. Bring this inside. Let it rest. Slice. Alright, so our tenderloin's rested for about 8 to 10 minutes. It smells really good. That crust really set up really nice on the sear kit. We're going to go ahead and slice these in about 1/2 inch medallions. And this is, again, we cooked this at 250. It went for about an hour and 20 minutes or so. And then took it off, put it on the sear kit at 450. We seared it for about 3 minutes aside. If you can look, that is top to bottom, left to right, medium rare. Really, really, really tasty. And if you're serving this later on, you can get it cold, slice it up for sandwiches. But I'm ready for a snack. Get a beef tenderloin, try trimming it out yourself, save some money, cook it on the Rec Tech, it'll be delicious.